Hello, Ebenezer mathematicians. Happy Friday to everyone. Today we're going to be reviewing solving two-step word problems. We're going to start by reviewing our strategies. Remembering that the first thing that we need to do is read and understand our problem. We read the problem twice. Then we think about it and make a picture in our mind, which we call visualizing, thinking about what's happening in the problem. And then we ask ourselves, do we understand the question at the end of the problem? Do we understand what we are being asked to do? So let's use those strategies on solving this problem. Let's begin by reading our problem. Mark is selling cups of lemonade. He has 83 cups to sell. During March, he sold 29 cups, and during April, he sold 37 cups. How many cups of lemonade does he have left to sell? Oh, I'm not putting that down because I'm going to read it again. I'm thinking about it, and I'm going to read it one more time. Mark is selling cups of lemonade. He has 83 cups to sell. During March, he sold 29 cups, and during April, he sold 37 cups. How many cups of lemonade does he have left to sell? Now, strategy number 2. We've got to make a plan. What do I need to do next? I've read it. I've got to determine what I'm going to do in step 1. Yes, you are correct. I need to see how many he sold in March and how many he sold in April. He sold 29 in March. He sold 37 in April. Now, some of my friends are going to be able to stack this because you were working on that before we got out. But I am going to demonstrate by representing. And I am going to represent 29. And I'm going to represent 37. And I always like to check myself because if I do not draw it correctly, then my answer is not going to be correct. All right, now what I'm going to do, I see that I know what you're thinking out there. You're thinking, Mrs. Hodge, that is enough to make a 10. If I have 9 and 7, knowing what I already know about my facts, I know that I have 16. Well, 16 is more than 10, isn't it, guys? So I need to make a 10. I know that I have 9 up here. I am going to make my 10. This is now going to become a 10. No longer ones. How many do I have left over? If I take 10, I had 16, remember. If I take 10, there are 6 remaining. How many 10s do I now have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For an answer of 66. But guess what? If that were a word problem, we're just asking how many were sold in March and April, I would be finished. But we have moved on to two-step problems. So there is something else that I'm going to need to do. I have not used this number yet. He has 83 cups to sell. He's already sold 66. So think about what I'm going to need to do now. He needs to sell 83. He has already sold 66. Yes. Guys, if I would work an addition problem here, my answer is going to be way over 100, which could not possibly make sense because he only had 83 to begin with. So I'm going to represent And I'm always going to check, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 3. Okay? And I'm going to subtract 6 tens and 6 ones. Well, I know my friends can already tell me I don't have enough to subtract. So since I do not have enough to subtract, what do I need to do? Break a 10 into 10 ones. And if I break it into 10 ones, now I have enough to be able to subtract 6. 2, 4, and 6. And how many are left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Because boys and girls, I had 3 ones and I added 10 ones. 13 minus 6 is 7. Now, do I have enough tens to take away 6? Yes, I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And how many are left over? 1. Now, I think I have my answer. I've got to go back to that strategy and I've got to say, does it make sense? Can he have 17 cups of lemonade left to sell? Yes, he can. Yes, he does have 17 cups of lemonade left to sell. Good job. Now, when you are working a problem, I want to see step 1 and step 2 so that I know how you're figuring out, no matter which strategy you are using. Now on to problem number 2. Okay, this next problem is going to interest some of you because do you like to go to Carowinds? Carowinds has lots of roller coasters. So this word problem is going to be dealing with some roller coasters. Now let's follow this strategy. Let's read it twice. There are 35 people standing in line to ride the roller coaster. And I'm sure you all have been through that before, whether it's a roller coaster or your favorite ride. 26 more people come to stand in line. Then 18 people get on the roller coaster. How many people are still in line? I'm visualizing, thinking about being in line to ride that roller coaster. How many people in line? And then there's some people that get on. Okay, the line becomes shorter. I'm going to read it one more time. There are 35 people standing in line to ride the roller coaster. 26 more people come to stand in line. Then 18 people get on the roller coaster. How many people are still in line? Okay. I've read it twice. I visualized standing in that line. Now we got to look at the question and make sure that I understand the question. How many people are still in line? Yeah, I see what they're asking me to do. Now I go to what am I going to do first? What is it important in this word problem to be able to figure out first? You're right. You need to figure out how many people are in line. At the beginning, there were 35 people in line. And then 26 more come and join. So I want to see, how much longer is that line going to be now? So I'm going to represent okay, I've represented, and I know that if I know this, 5 plus 6, hopefully I know that 5 plus 6 is 11. So that means I have enough to make a 10. Okay. Going to change my colors right quick because I'm going to take that 10 over and I'm going to put it right here. And I no longer have these as ones. How many ones ones do I have? I have 1. How many 10s do I have now? 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. I figured out how many people are standing in line, but 18 people now are getting on the roller coaster. 18 people are getting on the roller coaster. Wow. So I'm going to take my 61 here. And if 18 people are getting on, they're getting out of the line, right? Yes, they are getting out of the line. So we're going to take them out of that line. And we are going to work a subtraction problem. I'm going to represent 61. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I need to take away 1 10 and 8 ones. You know what? I bet you all could do this on your own right now because you know what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to break a 10. And there it is. 10 plus 1 is 11. Now I have enough to be able to take away 8. 2, 4, 6, and 8. Oh, how many are left over? You're right, 3, because 11 minus 8 equals 3. Okay, now I've got to be able to take 1 away from my 10s. If I take 1 away, how many am I left with? 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, I've got my answer. I've got to see, did it make sense? Did it make sense to say that 43 people are still in line? Yes, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense because my number went down. There were 61 people in line, then 18 people got on the roller coaster, and there are 43 still in line. And hopefully that line moves fast. All right, guys. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about your assessment tomorrow. Your assessment tomorrow is going to look like this with the apples across the top. Now, you probably need to find a quiet place. Just sort of pretend that you're at school and what we do when we're taking tests and assessments. Be somewhere quiet where you can think. You have 4 problems on the front, 4 problems on the back that you are going to solve. And they are 2-step problems. Now, you might notice that there are multiple choice. You know what about those multiple choice, though? That only shows the last step. It doesn't show both steps. So, Mrs. Hodge, I don't even mind if you don't mark the extra or the multiple choice. I want to see step 1, step 2. If you don't feel like you have enough room on here, by all means, use a scratch sheet of paper and put it with your paper. If you get an answer and you find your answer over here, you can mark it. But Mrs. Hodge, Miss Reinhardt, and Miss Potter are going to be looking at your steps. They're going to be looking at what strategies you use and seeing how you solve the problem. Now, remember at school when we're taking a math test, if we don't know a word, we can ask what that word is. I think you will be able to read a lot of this. But if there is a word that you don't know, you may ask an adult. But I want the answers to be your work. Show me what you can do. And I know with these days that you have been practicing that you have learned a lot about solving 2 step word problems. Remember, this is an assessment tomorrow. I would like for it to be done by yourself so I can see what you can do. And Miss Reinhardt can see what her students can do. And Miss Potter can see what her students can do. Take your time, do your best, and go through those 3 steps, boys and girls. Does my answer make sense? It's very important to ask yourself after you have solved your problem. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to leave you with that. Remember this assessment you will be taking tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again on Monday.